All right, guys, so by now you probably already know the C8 Corvette ZR1 build tool is available on the GM website, where you can customize and build your own C8 Corvette ZR1. But there's a couple things hidden under the surface here, a couple hidden little items for the Corvette that no one's really talked about yet. So let's go ahead, build our own C8 Corvette ZR1, and talk about these hidden gems. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If this is your first time here, my name is Justin. We're going to be talking all about the C8 Corvette ZR1 today because the new build tool is officially available on the Chevrolet website, which of course allows you to customize the car in the way you would want to build it for yourself. While this tool is nothing new as far as customizing a Corvette is concerned, it is brand new in the fact that it is specifically focused around the C8 Corvette ZR1. Now, where things get really interesting is outside of just the customizations of this car, because you're also seeing something new, something no one's talked about, something even Chevy hasn't talked about, and that is this. Yeah, so some sort of front-facing fender spats. Now, that word by itself has never really made a lot of sense to me, but the idea of that front-facing piece that kind of fills in the wheel well, but also helps with aerodynamics in the front of the car, we haven't seen something like this since the C7 Z06. But it is carbon fiber, and it's only available, from what I can tell, on the ZR1. The Z06 is not offering this as an option, so it's really an interesting addition here because Chevy hasn't talked about it. There's no mention of it at all on the builder. There's no way to customize it, remove it, make it larger, or anything like that. And it is available even on the base trim non-ZTK car. So again, odd, kind of an interesting little tidbit here in this new builder. Now, where things start to get really interesting is if we shift over to the left a little bit. Once again, we're on the website where we can build the C8 Corvette ZR1. We can clearly see those fender spats in front of the front wheel, very clearly right there. Obviously, you can tell they're in carbon fiber as well. Now, moving over to the left a little bit is where things get even more interesting because, yeah, there is a vertical radiator inside of that air duct in the front of the car. Now, this is interesting because all of the spy shots of the ZR1 initially did not show anything like that until they started testing the quote-unquote ZORA car. And then we saw the vertical radiator show up, which is obviously a cooler for the battery pack. Now, the only car to currently have that is the E-Ray. GM has been very vocal about exactly what that radiator is doing, and it is, in fact, there to cool the battery pack for the E-Ray front hybrid motor. So if you're asking yourself the same thing I am, that is, well, why would that exist on a C8 Corvette ZR1? Because that's not a hybrid car. Interesting indeed, right? So a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation. We were actually one of the first ones right here on this channel to talk about the fact that the ZORA option for the ZR1 may be just that. It may be an option package, a checkmark box that you go to build a 2026 or 2027 ZR1 and you choose the ZORA performance box, and that's going to give you a ZR1 ZORA. The difference being, of course, the hybrid motor up front that gives it all-wheel drive and a boost of around an additional 200 horsepower or so. The reason why we speculated that that was going to be a checkbox is because Taj himself had said that the C8 Corvette ZR1 was going to be the most expensive Corvette in the C8 lineup. So how does that car stay the most expensive if you're adding a hybrid setup to an already expensive car? It can't stay the same price. It would have to go up in price, right? Unless, of course, the ZR1 is the ZORA, only with a performance check option box instead, thus still keeping it a ZR1 at the end of the day. So those are the two actual interesting tidbits here on the builder. I haven't found anything else that is indicating that something else is coming just yet, but I have found a couple missing parts. That is the scrape armor radiator grille guards for the front, the side intakes, those are both missing. Those are not an available option on the website currently, as well as the front fangs, which are the area that run right through the front grille right here, and those in carbon fiber are missing. That's something you could get on the Z06, but does not seem to be showing up for the ZR1. These are things that, of course, could be added as time goes on, but for the time being, they are missing. Now, that's pretty much it for the interesting tidbits. What we're going to do now, guys, is actually walk through the builder and build my car, because I do plan on getting a ZR1, and as of right now, I have it on good authority. I'm going to be getting a pretty early car, so stay tuned for that, guys, if you're interested in seeing some ZR1 content. But right from the very beginning here, this is what you're displayed with, and it is the Hysteria Purple, which is not going to be the color we're choosing. But let's go ahead and select coupe, because I am a coupe guy. And then we're going to go down to the bottom right and hit model or basic continue. From here, I am a 3LZ kind of person as well, which one of the interesting things I found about the 3LZ in the ZR1 setup only is that if we actually hit view all features, we're going to get this little pop-up here. And one of the things that the 3LZ contains for the ZR1 is something new that no other C8 Corvette has given you in the 3LZ setup, and that is the appearance package. So this is going to actually give you the carbon fiber closeout panels on each side of the engine in the rear and the LED engine lighting, and also an engine specifications plaque. So this is interesting because in the past, even with the Z06, you had to choose the coupe engine appearance package separately. It was something that was an option even individually as far as the carbon fiber closeout panels or the engine lighting. You could choose those individually as well. But now it is actually part of the 3LZ package. I thought that was pretty cool. Scrolling down even further, we get, I guess, another little interesting tidbit I kind of forgot about is if we click on the warranty, you're going to actually see that the bumper-to-bumper limited warranty and everything, it is void if the ownership of the vehicle is transferred from the original owner within the first 6 months after delivery. This is nothing new necessarily, but a lot of people were asking about whether or not this was going to continue with the ZR1 since we had it with the Z06 and with E-Ray, where if you sold that car within the first 6 months, you would actually lose that warranty for the next buyer. What this was supposed to do was stop people from flipping the car. I don't really know how much that's actually helped with that, but at the end of the day, it is continuing with the ZR1 if you guys wanted to know. So anyway, we're going to select the 3LZ and then we're going to hit exterior. Now from here, believe it or not, guys, I was actually pretty torn. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with black again, but ultimately I did settle on black. Now, one of the really interesting things on the configurator here is its way of displaying the colors of this car. It's really off. So right off the bat, Hysteria Purple really doesn't look that purple in person, but it's not too bad. If we select black like we're going to do here, black looks okay, but at the end of the day, it's actually a lot grayer looking on the page here than it actually would be. But where things get really interesting is the second color I almost went with, and I'm still not 100%, I'm not going to go with this, is the Seawolf color. I almost laugh when I select this Seawolf. Take a look at this color. This is supposed to be gray. Tell me that's not awful. That looks more like cacti than Seawolf. The demonstration of colors on this builder is really not very good, but if you really wanted a good idea of what Seawolf gray is going to look like, I'll give you a hint. That's not it. It is not going to look like that. So for the argument's sake and the purpose of this video, we're just going to choose black because that is most likely what I'm going to go with. Scrolling down from there, we have a couple other options for dual roof and different color wheels. One of the first things I'm going to do is get new wheels for the car, so I am not going to customize the wheels at all. I'm just going to leave them the sterling silver, what comes with the car. I am not doing carbon fiber wheels because the wheels that I'm going to do are going to be nicer than the carbon fiber wheels, and they're actually going to be lighter. Yeah, lighter than carbon fiber, but they're not going to be carbon fiber. Stay tuned. Scrolling down even further, we got our tire selection, which will change once we get into some more options. The brake calipers, I'm of course going to go with bright red painted, kind of my thing. I like the black and red setup. Scrolling down some more, we got center cap options, wheel lug nut options, and some stripe options. I'm not going to do a stripe package at all. I'm not a stripe guy. If I were to do a stripe package in general, it would probably be either carbon flash or some sort of matte racing stripe to go with the black, but we're going to pass on all of that for now. So moving on, we're going to go to interior, and here is where I'm going to actually go with the adrenaline red Napa leather seating surfaces with perforated inserts. This is where I'm going to deviate a little bit from my current build. I wanted a little bit more red on the interior. So for those of you going, oh my God, Justin, that's too much red, just bear with me here because we're gonna change it up a little bit. It's not going to be quite that red whenever we're all said and done. Now, one of the big things I want you guys to understand is I do go with 3LZ because I do like the Alcantara or the microfiber suede on the roof and the A-pillars and stuff like that. I do not want microfiber inserts on the seat or the steering wheel. It gets too messy and I just don't like it. So I'm going to keep leather everywhere except for the surfaces you don't touch, which is the roof. That's okay to be an Alcantara. Now, moving on, we're going to scroll down a little bit more and we're going to get to the seat options. You guys know me. I like me some competition seats. Now, what's going to be interesting here is you're actually going to see how much the seats change whenever I select competition. A lot of that red goes away. And that's what we're trying to do is I want some red, but this by default, in my opinion, is a little too much. As soon as you select the competition seats, it looks much better. So now we got just more of a splash of red in there versus versus really red. Now, we're actually going to take it even a step further. Once we select some more options, it's going to reduce that red even further, but still just allow a tasteful amount of red on the interior. Scrolling down, because we did do the adrenaline red interior, we are going to leave the seatbelts black. I'm not going to do red seatbelts. Again, I don't want to overdo the red here. And here's your option for carbon fiber and suede microfiber steering wheel. I'm going to pass on that one, but just so you know, it is there. That is your thing. Moving on to options. This is where things get really interesting. We are going to do ZTK performance package. And of course, like I said earlier, this is going to remove your Sport 4S tires and give us the Cup 2Rs instead. I'll go ahead and confirm that. And of course, that does also add the ZR1 carbon fiber aero package. Of course, we want us a big wing. So scrolling down a little bit more, going to avoid painting any carbon fiber. I'm not a big fan of covering carbon fiber, so we won't do that. I'm not going to do carbon flash outside mirrors, no chrome badges. I am going to do a museum delivery this time because this is going to be a big deal and I want as many of you guys to be there experiencing it with me as possible. So we will be doing the museum delivery. Scrolling down, the outside mirror covers in visible carbon. I am going to do those as well because, as you guys know, I've made it clear more than one time on this channel, GM's carbon fiber has a brownish tint to it. You are never going to match that external carbon fiber from GM. So I'm going to get as much carbon fiber as I can from them because that is all that's going to be able to happen on the outside of the car. On the inside and in the engine bay, that's a different story. We'll talk about that in the future. But on the outside, I'm going to get as much carbon fiber from GM as I possibly can because there's really no way of matching it moving forward. I'm also going to do the dark stealth crossed flags, so the carbon flash painted flags without any color in them. That is where we're going to go with that. Very similar to the Z06 I have now. Scrolling down, we're going to skip past all the lug nuts and everything because, like I said, I do have aftermarket wheels that would be coming for the car. Scrolling down some more is where we get some more interesting options, the carbon fiber interior trim and the level 2 carbon fiber package. I will be doing that on the car. That is going to, again, decrease the amount of red on the interior while adding some carbon fiber and making it look really supercarish. The stealth interior trim package, I have that currently. I will be doing that again. Really like that option. And again, really just kind of brings it all together as that black and red combination. Scrolling down some more, we're not going to do anything with the stitching or anything because that came with the adrenaline red interior already. I will also be doing the visible carbon fiber sill plates from GM, again, because of the color of their carbon fiber. Scrolling down a little bit more, we are going to do the black exhaust tips. I will likely be changing out the exhaust on this car, but until I do, I don't want to be running around with chrome exhaust tips. I'm not a chrome guy. Front end lift, definitely 100%. That is 100% one of the options everybody should be getting for this car, in my opinion. The fact that I live in Pennsylvania, these roads are not good enough to not have that. So I will always have that option. Scrolling down some more, I'm not going to do anything in the engine bay with GM's carbon fiber. As you can even tell in that picture, it is very, very brown. We're going to do something different with the engine bay carbon fiber anyway. Moving down some more, these things are not even close to worth almost $2,000. I will stick with my C8 Rally Driver stuff, so we'll pass on that. Don't need any battery protection because we're typically going to go with an anti-gravity battery anyway, so we'll pass on that. And that's pretty much it. So from here, we're going to go to summary. Oh, look at that. Currently, there's no inventory for this vehicle. Who would have thought? So if we blow this up, though, this is what we're getting. And boy, oh boy, is she a beaut. So right off the bat, obviously, silver wheels stick out, but like I said, those aren't going to stick around for too long. Lots of carbon fiber on this car, even from factory. I love it. Again, really clear image of that vertical radiator there in the front that doesn't make much sense unless, of course, the ZORA option is going to be a checkbox for the ZR1, which this pretty much confirms it. Unless this is a total mistake, odds are good that's exactly why that's there. Plus, we got those front fender spats that are really kind of interesting, I guess I'll say. But thankfully, they're carbon fiber, so they add to the overall appearance. So if we're looking at the car just from the front here, guys, we got the splitter, the dive planes, the hood piece that adds to aero, the mirror caps, the side skirts, the boomerangs on the intake up on top of the hatch, the spoiler, the roof, all of this stuff is carbon fiber right from GM. So this car is going to have a lot of carbon fiber on it and it looks fantastic. Imagine this car, of course, is going to have either black gloss or matte black wheels. It is going to be an absolutely fantastic looking piece. Now, where things get interesting, really, really interesting is if we go to some interior shots. But before we do, I guess let's take a look at that back with, oh yeah, that's another piece of carbon fiber is in the back. The whole back surround around the glass is all carbon fiber as well. So lots of carbon on this car. I almost forgot about that. That is a really nice looking piece, by the way. So we'll go through some more of these shots here. And of course, this is a better shot of that rear glass. So all of the trim around the rear glass, as well as the split window setup here, is all exposed carbon fiber, assuming you don't get this painted, which I really don't know why you would. But it's there. Lots of carbon fiber. That is one of the best looking angles on the ZR1 too, because you get to see that new hood up there as well. So anyway, the next step is to show you the interior because, like I said, it is going to be a little bit less red after we do the competition seats and the level 2 carbon fiber. So this is what we're getting right here. A little bit of a splash of red on the interior, on the bottom part of the dash, bottom part of the door, and a little bit on the seats. I really, really like that setup. I think that looks fantastic. It's just enough red, just enough to let you know the black and red combination is real. And what I really like in this particular shot is if you look over here, you can actually see on the left, the pocket where you would grab to close the door is actually red at the bottom. I think that's so cool. So this is going to be a really interesting cockpit setup. I think this feels a little bit more supercar because it also puts a good bit of red on the door panel as well, right beside the stealth package speaker cover. It definitely looks a little more supercar in my opinion. So that's the interior, and the exterior, of course, is looking fantastic as well, but will look even better once I get some new wheels on it. But unfortunately, with the way that the builder is set up currently, there is no final pricing here. It says see dealer for pricing, which is always kind of scary. But we have a general idea. This build is going to be between $210,000 and $215,000 before taxes. So I already know that that's roughly where the cost is going to be on this. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed those 3 little tidbits that no one's really talking about on this yet. This is more so of a builder and kind of building your experience here. But at the same time, there's little hidden Easter eggs here that GM either placed there on purpose or maybe there's a mistake. I guess we'll see here in the future. But if you liked what you saw, guys, please smash the thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking the content. There's a lot of ZR1 stuff coming soon. It's going to be super exciting, so make sure you're subscribed. And as always, stay obsessed.